forward to playing such a fast, technical, and quick team. I had the pleasure of watching them play Georgetown, and we're going to have our hands full tomorrow, but I anticipate two teams that really want to bring home the cup.
Thanks, Coach. We'll take questions from media members. If you have a question, please raise your hand, and we'll get a microphone to you. Before you ask your question, please identify yourselves, name and affiliation. We'd like to start with questions for student athletes first, please. We'll start with Ray in the back and come up to Jennifer.
Ashley and Kadeisha, you guys have both been on the world stage, both at the Olympics and in the World Cup. How has that experience prepared you for tomorrow?
Well, I think it's helped tremendously, just with the experience that, I've gained being at that level. I've grown a lot as a player, but, from certain players like Christine Sinclair with their mentorship and their leadership, I was able to learn a lot, on the field with my movements as a midfielder and how to adapt, around other players, but as well as just how to become a leader myself. So coming back to West Virginia now, being a captain, I think that's been one of the biggest things, providing my experiences and leadership to this team.
Kadeisha, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I definitely agree with what Ashley said. I think one of the main things is leadership and just learning some leadership, how they mentored us and just bringing it back to this team with their communication, just with their performance on the field, just always leading by example, but also communication as well. It's huge.
Jennifer?
Jennifer Gordon, Equalizer Soccer. Final whistle blows, you hear Country Roads. Can you guys talk a little bit about what that song means to you guys, especially in light of the amount of travel that you guys have put in between international duty and going back to West Virginia the past 4 years?
I think it just brings us back to playing at home at Dick Dulles Soccer Stadium for 4 years. I think even when we hear it outside of our soccer facility, everyone just looks to us because we're Mountaineers, and we all sing the song together. So I think it's just a cool feeling to always hear that song.
Yeah, whenever we're at home, there we go, and we win a game, they play the song, so it just, feels like that sense of home that we're back in Morgantown at Dick Dulles Soccer Stadium. But even though we're in, San Jose, California, wherever we are, I remember the Big 12 tournament when we had won, they played the song. So it's just that sense of feeling of home, even though it doesn't matter where we're at. So yeah, it's just a nice feeling, and to sing it with my teammates and the staff, and just to see the traveling West Virginia fans in the stands, it was a pretty cool moment to share amongst each other.
Elliot in the front, and then Graham.
Hi, Elliot Almond, San Jose Mercury News. Speaking of the Canadian international teammates, Sink knows a lot about the College Cup. Has she said anything to you guys about this particular experience?
Well, we've been in, consecutive contact with Sink and just the rest of the players, just on almost on a daily basis, because we have a group chat going on, so we just kind of reconnect here and there. It's been more good luck and along those lines, because she has been here, and from her it was more about have fun and just go out there, and more of congratulatory words from the veteran players on Canada.
Let's go to Graham here in the front.
For both players, I'm just curious, what was your experience growing up with the diversity of the sport? And was soccer always a welcoming atmosphere as women of color growing up?
Yeah, I think for both of us, I think we played on the same team since we were 9 years old, and it's obviously, I think in Canada, I think it's very diverse, and there wasn't much racial slurs or anything like discrimination just because of our color. I think that's what makes Canada such a welcoming place, because we're just also diverse and we're friendly as well.
We'll continue to take questions for student athletes, but also questions for Coach Izzo Brown. Let's go to the front row.
Harold Gutman with the Charleston Gazette Mail. Just to the players, what would it mean? I mean, North Carolina, you guys played last time; they won 21 times. Southern California's even won once, but you guys have never won before. What would it mean for you guys to be on the team that brings home, the first title for West Virginia?
I mean, I can't even describe, the feeling. Potentially hoisting that trophy. I think this season we've done so much for the program, and we've broken a lot of barriers. So at the beginning of the season, we set team goals, and that was one of them, to make it to the College Cup. And now that we're here, it's just all that hard work, commitment, dedication, and sacrifice that we've invested into each other on the field and off the field. So to finally be here, I just feel like it's an accumulation of all that work that we've put in. So to be able to call ourselves national champions would be an absolute honor, and to bring that back to Morgantown, I think it would be amazing, but also speak volumes of all the hard work that we've done, that Izzo has prepared us for, and the staff, and it would just be a great way to end the season.
Let's go to Elliot in the front.
Hi, Nikki. Just a house cleaning question. Is there an update on Bianca? Is she able to play, or is her season over?
It's going to be a game day decision. Obviously, Bianca wants to play, and we're just keeping a close eye on her. So we'll see when the whistle blows.
This question's for Coach. Before 2013, Becky Burley was the only female coach who had won the national championship. We've seen a few more names get added to that. Can you speak a little bit to what it would mean, for women in general to see you win, and your experience as a woman in a field dominated by men?
It was incredible when Becky did it. You don't want to not pay attention to a woman winning it and being at the forefront for us women to win at the biggest stage in collegiate soccer. I've always just approached it that I want to be the best coach I could be, and I hope that everyone looks to me as one of the best, especially this year if we do hoist that trophy. But I do think there is some role model opportunities for me being a woman and being in this situation. So I hope that I could show lots of women that they can do it. They could do it with a family. I have 3 young daughters. But also that just set your standards high and set your goals, and anything can happen. So if there are some young women out there that are questioning if they can or can't do it, they most certainly can do it. And if I do take on that role as a role model, I will embrace it and mentor it the best I can, and hopefully allow players to my left continue and be coaches and be the best coaches that they can be.
Jennifer?
Follow up to that. I know that your assistants are actually former players. Can you speak to a little bit about having more women in the profession?
I've always felt that us women have a great perspective, and I think that it should be celebrated. I think there are coaches that bring so many different things and so many different characteristics to the table, men and women. I was coached by a man's man and a woman's man, I guess you'd say, and I loved my coach. But I do believe that, women have a great perspective and we should celebrate it. And I'm so fortunate that some of my former players have chosen the path of coaching. I have a lot in the coaching profession, but I'm also blessed that 2 of my former players are alongside of me every day and making me better, and that they are going to continue to be some of the great young coaches in this profession.
Other questions? We'll go to Graham in the front and then Ray in the back.
If I can follow up on that follow-up, are there hurdles that you feel you face that are related to being a woman in coaching?
I do believe that there are hurdles. As in any profession, there's going to be hurdles when you are in a profession that's so dominant. by male coaches, but I have some great coaches that are male gender and female gender, but there's definitely been, especially when I was younger and maybe a little bit less established, where you maybe I had to prove myself a little differently than I have to now, but I've never looked at it that way. I've never looked at me in an unfair profession. I've just worked hard and done the best of my ability and tried to be the best coach I could be and never get complacent. But I would be denying the fact that there have been some opportunities, maybe in respect issues just because I was a woman, but my whole philosophy on that was if they really get to know me and they see how hard I work and what quality I bring as a coach, it won't be a problem.
ESPN. Kadeisha, I wanted to ask you about the way the game started yesterday because it seemed like North Carolina was coming at you. They were going to try to get under your skin. And you picked up the early yellow. And of course, everybody then starts wondering, well, how does this change if she has to leave? So I just want to ask you how you then figured out how to kind of balance all of that and yet keep your edge that makes you the great player you are.
I think I definitely had certain situations. Definitely not my first yellow. So I definitely have a process of dealing with yellow cards early on in the game, late in the game. So I don't think that phased my game at all. I'm definitely used to it. I shouldn't be, but I am. But it's fine. But just, I think it's also just knowing how the game is going to go out, what the ref is going to call, getting to know the ref even more. Just, I think more really focusing on just my timing of my tackles, I guess. Going into certain tackles, pulling out of certain tackles. But overall, I wasn't really thinking about that too much. I know my game doesn't change because I got that yellow, and I'll just keep on being aggressive, just keep on leading the team. So, yeah.
Kadeisha, Ashley talked about how you push her, how you fight to make her a better player. How does that work in reverse? What does she do? What does she bring to the team? What does she do for you that kind of helps you on your side of things?
She definitely makes me keep my feet and make me close my legs so she doesn't meg me. She definitely has the fastest feet I've ever seen. So I think she makes me one of the better defenders because although she plays defense, she's also attacking midfielder by heart and a striker by heart. So definitely when we go 1v1, it's always one up, one down with her. I think it always ends up being a tie game because we never let up to each other. So, and also off the field, she's definitely a great leader. She makes me do my homework all the time. So we've been roommates for the last 4 years, and even when we're on the road, we're always rooming together. So she definitely keeps me up to task on things.
Elliot in the front.
So I have a question for Kadeisha and Ashley, and also one for Nikki. Same thing, but different questions. So can I start with you guys? You play for an amazing coach in Canada, and John. What does it mean to play for a woman? On that theme that there's not a lot of women coaches in D1 soccer, what does it mean to be playing for Nikki, and how is it different? And I'll hold this.
I wouldn't say there's not much difference. They both have their own coaching philosophy, and they both coach it well. So definitely, obviously, we wanted to pursue coaching at the next level. I think it's, for me, just mentoring, obviously, Izzo, because she's a female of this game. So I think it's basically the same. We have two of the top coaches that I've ever been coached from. They're, again, two different philosophies, but they both got the job done.
Yeah, no, similar to what Keisha said, they're both great at their job, and I think, just with Izzo, it's, someone that I can really look up to because she is, female and very powerful in her role. So, again, both great leaders and great at their job. Yeah.
Thank you. So, Nikki, what I wanted to ask you, on this subject with women coaches, look what Jill's doing, but then Michelle French, April, I mean, they're out there. You guys have already kind of proven you can win World Cups. Why aren't there more Nikki-Izzo Browns in Division I?
Obviously, you spoke of some incredible women out there and doing it at the highest stage with April Heinrichs and Jill and Frenchie. I think the balance of being a woman can be difficult when you have children. And I think that can play into some young coaches when they do have children. The hours and the time can sometimes get very difficult, and if you don't have the right support cast and administration behind you, it can be very, very difficult. So I think for a lot of people that I see choose to leave the profession, that has been a common thread that I've heard, and a lot of people will call me and ask me how I do it. So I think, unfortunately, that balance can be difficult when you are having children, and unfortunately, we have lost a lot of great coaches because of the balance of that. And so I'm hoping that women will continue to do what April and Jill have done and Frenchie have done, and understand and maybe recognize the balance that it can be done.
We'll go to the back and come up here to Harold.
Sarita Cobbs from ESPNW. Coach, you brought one of the most culturally and racially diverse teams that have ever played in the College Cup Finals. What are you doing differently when it comes to recruiting and convincing young women to come join you in Morgantown and stay?
I don't see color. I really don't. It was never something conscious. I recruit personalities, and I recruit a certain type of player and student, and it just so happens all of a sudden, the girls tease me all the time. There is a lot of diversity on the team, and what I do recognize about our diversity is the personalities. We have such wonderful, colorful personalities on our team, but we do represent diversity, and I love it. It is just incredible when I see, all the team out there and just so much diversity. So it's wonderful to see so many young women playing and choosing the sport that I love and I'm so passionate about, and then for me to be able to put these role models in front of young players is just incredible. And I've said that to Ashley, I've said that to Keisha, the stage that you can touch is incredible. The young little black girls, white girls, yellow, pink, green, blue, whatever it is, these girls can touch them and let them know that they can do it. So if my team is that diverse team that can touch some young players and they can see their faces in some of my players, that makes me feel so good because I have 3 young daughters.
Harold in the front, do you have a question?
Kind of the flip side to that, to the players, what made you guys come to West Virginia? I know one of you said that you had different reasons.
For myself, throughout the recruiting process, I had a few schools that I narrowed it down to, but I had the privilege of coming and visiting Morgantown. But for me, it was definitely the overall feel, that the players gave me and the coaching staff. Izzo did a great job at, presenting a family environment, and that's what I loved. From my home, it's about a 6-hour drive, and I definitely wanted to have that, that distance close to home. Even the academic piece, it was something that fell under, my interest. So a lot of factors, but the main thing was, again, just that feeling that I had being around the players, and their style of play. They were a good program, but something that I had spoken to with my family, before really making the decision was, did I want to go to a program, that was established, that had, all those accolades and trophies under their belt, or did I want to go to a program, that was established but still developing and still striving to be number one? Well, I wanted to go to a program where I could really be an impact and make a difference and push them to be number one. And, when I spoke with Keisha, she had similar, interests with West Virginia for her own reason. We decided to both go to the school, and we had a conversation that we could, make this program number one, and we could play in a national championship game. And it gives me chills when I think about us finally being here in our senior year as captains, playing in the national championship game tomorrow. So it's pretty surreal.
Got time for a couple more. Harold, do you have a follow-up? Right in the back.
Sort of a different question, but just for coaches, you've been in the NCAA tournament 17 years in a row, but this is the first time you guys were able to, finally get to the final weekend. What's been the difference about this team, do you think?
The leadership of this team. I've had great leaders of the past, but the leadership, the way these two lead, and Carly Black has led all year long, and then there's a chemistry. And, it's funny, you throw that word around and you're like, chemistry, chemistry, chemistry. And we just have this great chemistry amongst each other in this fight and this resilience that this team really, truly cares so much for each other, and they want to fight for each other. And it's kind of like that when you throw that word around and says, oh, my team's in the zone. This team will get in the zone for each other, and I just believe it's the chemistry. But obviously, there's a high competitiveness amongst this team also, and there's a resilience amongst this team, and of course, there's talent. And I've always said hardworking talent is the toughest to beat, and we're going to bring that Sunday. And I think all of that together is what makes this team where we are today in the College Cup.
Elliot in the front.
Guys, while living in the great frozen north, before you ever set foot in Morgantown, what was your image of West Virginia?
There were a lot of hills and steps that we had to go up to when we're getting shown around campuses. Morgantown, Mountaineers, there's a lot of mountains. So, it was definitely colorful when we went there, because we went there like in October-ish. So it was definitely like a nice fall atmosphere going on.
Got time for maybe two more if they're out there. Let's go to Ray in the back, then Jennifer.
I know defense has kind of been the strength of this team. You ran the table in the Big 12 without giving up a goal. Can you just talk about just some of the challenges that your defense will face tomorrow, and just what you've got to do to counter them?
Is that for Coach?
That's for all of them.
Obviously, USC does go deep into their rotation, so that will be something that we have to match, is the rotation and how many players that will be rotated on the field. This is an attacking-minded team also, so there are some very talented players that we will have to know where they are and be aware of their whereabouts, always on the field. But again, it's, USC has some tendencies that we've seen and that I'll lean towards, but moving into the game, it's definitely they're definitely going to present some problems for us, and we just have to make sure that we have a good focus and a good understanding of where we can counter those, but also expose some things that we do really well.
Jennifer, last question.
This is for anyone. Coach, you mentioned how important Carly was. Can you guys speak to how important she's been? Because she was starting, now she's coming off the bench for you guys. Sometimes if you're not starting, your efforts get kind of overlooked.
Yeah, I think the thing with Carly is she's prevailed through 2 ACLs, and then she got re-injured again this year. And I think the one thing that she leads by example, and any player that has come back from injury is definitely gives you a little strength and a little understanding of, if she can do it, we can do it. We can't complain. Not tired enough. embrace the suck, and Carly has given us all that, and she still holds her chin up and still is a great leader and still cheering just as loud as anybody else, but will also step in and do any role that I ask her to do.